Hope you guys are doing well. So, I thought for my channel that I would like to tell more scary stories, and I thought I would do IMR scary stories on their channel. It's really good. So, why don't we watch some videos by them? Don't mind me, I gotta fix my hair. Why don't we watch some videos by them? And there are going to be 3 videos I show you by them that are really good. And I think you guys will really enjoy them. And if you guys like them a lot, please subscribe to their channel. It's IMR, the abbreviation. You'll find them right on YouTube. They do scary stories. You'll like it a lot. And I'm subscribed to them. I watch them like every week. So it's a great channel. So I'm gonna choose maybe 3 stories, maybe 6, it depends. And I'm gonna watch them with you guys, and I'll give you guys my opinions and my thoughts about it. My opinions and thoughts, and what I like or dislike about the stories after I'm done. So, that's it.
Skipped a beat when I matched with Adam. His profile showed a charming smile, dark hair, and a hint of mystery. He mentioned he was new in town and looking to make connections. We hit it off immediately, sharing jokes and stories late into the night.
By the way,
I messaged.
my uncle throws this incredible Halloween party every year. You should come.
Adam replied, "Sounds fun. I'll be the guy in the classic sailor costume. White uniform, navy accents, and a simple black mask. Can't wait to meet you in person." It seemed odd to me how he was already ready with a costume, but since Halloween was approaching, I didn't think much of it. The night of the party arrived, and my uncle's old house was alive with music and laughter. My uncle's place was always the highlight of the season, decked out in elaborate decorations that transformed it into a haunted mansion. I wore a flapper dress, complete with feathers and pearls, feeling like I'd stepped back into 1920s. As I met Julia, I presume,
Guilty as charged. Glad you could make it.
we clicked instantly. He had a way of making me feel like we were the only 2 people in the crowded room. We danced to the upbeat music, and as we moved, he leaned in. "You know, I could totally see you dressing up like a princess and dancing through these halls."
I actually did that. Uncle's Halloween parties are always amazing. I couldn't see him. Else I would have introduced you.
He smiled mysteriously. "You seem like someone who grew up with grand traditions." I giggled like a teen. Later, as the party buzzed around us, he suggested we find a quieter spot. He led me to my uncle's old study, a room filled with antique furniture and family heirlooms. The scent of aged books and polished wood surrounded us. I hadn't been in there for years. Adam picked up a vintage photograph from the mantelpiece. "Is this you?" I peered at the picture. It was me as a child sitting on the porch of this very house.
It is. I didn't realize my uncle still had this out. Also, great eye.
You've hardly changed.
I was a child.
You're still the me.
What?
Nothing. He nodded, his eyes unreadable behind the mask, hiding a pretty face which I was craving to see. He locked his eyes with me, put a hand on my back, and pulled me in, leaning to give a kiss. I moved back and decided to change the subject.
I should probably get back to my friends.
As we rejoined the party, I reached for my phone to check the time, but it was missing from my purse.
That's odd.
I murmured, "Everything okay?"
My phone's gone. I must have left it somewhere.
He reached into his pocket and handed it to me. "Found this on your uncle's table." I took it slowly.
Oh, thanks. Never realized I took it out.
But doubt lingered. I excused myself.
Maybe I just need something to drink.
Adam handed me a glass from a nearby table, not letting me go. "Here, try this." I hesitated.
What is it?
"Just punch. Promise it'll make you feel better." I sipped cautiously. The room felt warmer, the lights a bit too bright. Adam stayed close, his hands lightly touching my elbows. He seemed tense.
I'm fine.
I insisted, even though I wasn't sure. As the evening wore on, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. His voice, his mannerisms, they all seemed strangely familiar. I tried to recall if we'd met before, but my thoughts were muddled. Needing a moment alone, I slipped away to find the bathroom. On my way, I noticed a door ajar leading into a small storage room. Drawn by curiosity, I stepped inside. Stacked on shelves were boxes labeled with family names. One box in particular caught my eye. It had my mother's name on it. I opened it to find old photographs and letters. Among them was a picture that made my blood run cold. It was my uncle at a past Halloween party, wearing the exact sailor costume Adam had on. The white uniform, navy accents, and black mask. I stumbled back, memories flooding in. The way Adam knew about my childhood, the familiar gestures, his presence in the study surrounded by family mementos. Heart pounding, I rushed back to the party. I searched the crowd frantically, but couldn't find him. Spotting my parents, I hurried over.
Mom, Dad, I need to talk to you.
They looked concerned. What is it, honey? I told them everything. Their faces paled. My father clenched his jaw. Are you sure? I nodded.
He knew things. Personal things. And the costume. It's his.
Without another word, my father went to call the police while my mother stayed by my side. Made their way through the guests. They found my uncle in the garage doing drugs and escorted him out, his mask removed to reveal a smug expression. As he passed me, he gave a sly smile. I just wanted to dance with you, Julia, baby. I'll return for that kiss. A chill settled over me. My mother hugged me tightly. The realization that someone I trusted had crossed such a line left me feeling exposed and vulnerable. In the days that followed, I tried to make sense of it all. How long had he been watching me? Why would he do this? One thing was certain. The masks people wear aren't always part of a costume. Sometimes, they're there to hide the darkest intentions. Waiting for you. Thank you for having us. I'm Ed. This is my wife, Lorraine. Lorraine looked around the property. The moment our car reached near this house, I saw her behavior changed. I could tell from her worried eyes she was feeling something. I'm familiar with this expression on her face. Mr. Donovan was leading us the way. The big two-storied and wooden house stood like a lone wolf in the middle of nowhere. Dry leaves were all over the ground. Please, come in. A woman came and held Lorraine's hand. I could see the fear on her face. I can't thank you enough for coming here. Please help us. Lorraine comforted her, saying, Mrs. Donovan, that's why we're here. You must calm down and tell me everything. Yes, come, let's sit. Lorraine and I walked to the living room. The house was really cold. There was a chilling sensation in the air of the house, as if the temperature dropped all of a sudden. We sat down on the couch. Mrs. Donovan sat next to Lorraine, and Mr. Donovan grabbed a chair and sat near the fireplace. I keep turning the heater on, but still, the house temperature remains cold. Lorraine and I exchanged looks, because we knew the reason behind it. Mr. Donovan lit up the fireplace. A maid came and served us hot coffee. I took a sip from the coffee cup and said, How long have you lived here? It's been a few years now, but the incidents have been happening for the past few months. Everything was going well, we were happy here, but all of a sudden our life turned into nightmares. Mrs. Donovan was trying hard to stop her tears. Can you please tell us how it all started? Lorraine said. Mrs. Donovan looked at the fireplace. She kept quiet for some time and watched the flames. It was around 3 a.m. in the morning. Heavy rain and thunderstorms were going on outside. My daughter Patty was sleeping upstairs, and our son Brian's room was right next to hers. I woke up hearing a whispering sound. I searched the living room and the hallway downstairs. At first, I thought maybe Brian was watching TV secretly, but I found the entire downstairs dark and empty. I was going back to my room thinking it was my imagination when I heard footsteps going upstairs. I ran to see who it was, but there was no one. It was just me, standing alone near the stairs amidst the thunder and lightning. I went upstairs to check on my kids. I found Brian in deep sleep at his room. I was about to go inside Patty's room when I heard whispers coming from her. I opened her door and saw she was sitting on her bed. I asked her who she was talking to. She just told me no one. Then she woke up to the sound of lightning. I noticed the windows of her room were shut and locked. Just to be sure, I searched her room. I mean, she is young, and I didn't want any boy to sneak into her room in the middle of the night. But there was no one. So I came back to bed. After that night, bizarre things started to happen in this house. What kind of bizarre things? I asked. One day I woke up and went to the washroom to clean my face. I turned on the tap and splashed water on my face, and as soon as I lifted my head and looked in the mirror, I saw... What did you see, Mrs. Donovan? My face and hands were covered with blood. Blood was coming out of the tap instead of water. The entire sink was red and splattered with blood. Mrs. Donovan hid her face in her palms, remembering the fearful memory. Mr. Donovan replied, "We don't know what's happening here. Last week our car tires started to burst out on their own. No matter how many times I changed them, every morning Patty would find a flat tire. Our kids are terrified, and so are we. You see those pictures on the table?" Mr. Donovan pointed out to the corner of the room. I saw a framed family photo that was kept on the table. Every time we hung those pictures, some invisible force knocks them down. Not just that, our wallpapers come off the walls for no reason. It seems like someone peels them off vigorously. Furniture moves on its own, and now we are even terrified of our daughter. "Well, what's wrong with your daughter?" Lorraine asked. Mrs. Donovan started sobbing in a low voice. Mr. Donovan looked at her and said in a low voice, "She's changed. Something got into her. Last night we were having dinner. All four of us were sitting at the dining table. Patty was sitting beside me when she suddenly looked up at the ceiling and froze. She was staring at the blank ceiling for no reason. I asked her what it was, but she didn't say anything. She then looked at me and smiled in a very disturbing way. 'What are you smiling at, Patty?' I asked her. What she said still gives me goosebumps. 'Why? What did she tell you?' I spoke. Mr. and Mrs. Donovan exchanged a fearful look. She looked right into my eyes and said, 'You all smell different when you're awake.' For the first time, the silence in the room made my heart skip a beat. Lorraine looked at me and said, 'I can feel an evil presence in this house, Ed. We need to talk with your daughter. Where is your son?' I sent him to stay with my brother for a while. Patty's behavior scared him badly, and we wanted to keep him out of this house. Okay, let's go meet Patty then." We all got up and started to walk upstairs. It's time to meet Patty, for whom we came here for. A humming sound was coming from her room. Mr. Donovan pushed the door, and we saw a young teenage girl lying on a bed and humming mysteriously. Lorraine said in a low voice, "Patty, how are you?" She got up on her bed and stared at us with her big blank eyes. Lorraine sat close to her and said, "Patty, what was that song you were humming?" "My boyfriend taught me." "Your boyfriend? Is he in your school?" "No, he stays with me in this house." "Really? How did he get inside?" "I called him with a Ouija board. He told me I'm the most beautiful girl in the world." We were all shocked to hear this from Patty. Lorraine looked at me with scared eyes. I knew what she was trying to tell me. I got close to Patty and said, "Did he tell you his name, Patty?" "No. I keep asking him, but he never says." "What else has he told you?" Patty was going to say something, but suddenly she looked at the door behind me and froze. "What is it, Patty? Is someone standing there?" I asked. "He doesn't want you here." "Can you ask him what he does want?" "He doesn't want you here. He wants you out of this house. He's saying he wants you all dead." Before we could say anything more, Patty started to scream violently and scratch her face with her nails. It was a horrifying scene to watch a young, healthy girl tearing her skin like this. Oh my god, Patty, stop! Mr. Donovan and I held Patty down in the bed while she kicked and screamed like an animal. Mrs. Donovan burst into tears, screaming in pain. Lorraine took her out of the room immediately. We had no other way than tying Patty's hands to the bed to stop her from hurting herself. Within 5 minutes, Patty calmed down and fell asleep, as if nothing happened. We came out of her room and sat down in the living room. No one talked for a few moments, and then Lorraine spoke. Your daughter must have felt lonely and used that Ouija board out of curiosity. In that process, she invited an evil entity into your house. Now, this demon has latched itself onto her, and all that has been happening to you in his deeds. We must stop this demon before it takes Patty's soul away. Ed, it's time to call Father Jason. We must perform the exorcism today. Father Jason arrived right after sunset. We all walked upstairs. As soon as we entered Patty's room, we saw a horrifying scene. Patty had somehow freed herself and was standing near the window. Patty, are you all right? Father Jason said in a soft voice. She didn't turn back, but her upper body started to bend towards her feet. She looked right at us with blood-red eyes. Mrs. Donovan screamed and ran downstairs in fear. Patty laughed in a demonic voice. That night, Father Jason and I fought the devil with all our power. Patty was extremely violent. We tied her to the bed, but she kept cursing us. I could tell the demon possessed her completely and was reluctant to leave. We chanted our prayers. Pieces of furniture were levitating in the air. A chair came right at me, as if someone threw it to harm me. But we didn't stop. The windows were slamming hard. A gush of wind ravaged the entire room, and the demon and Patty laughed, screamed, but we didn't stop. We had to save this girl. The exorcism went on the whole night. Right after dawn, we saw Patty's body being lifted in the air. It was all happening on its own. Father Jason said his last prayer and sprinkled the holy water on her. As soon as he did that, Patty's mouth was wide open, and black smoke came out and drifted away out of the window. Everything fell silent. Lorraine rushed upstairs and said, Ed, it's over now. We've done it. I can feel it. I believe in Lorraine's ability. I knew she was right. Before starting the story, I would suggest you guys to go subscribe to the channel. It turns out that most of you guys who watch me aren't actually
Years old. You could say I've done it all in my life. I've been a police officer, a volunteer firefighter, and even a traffic officer. Of all the jobs I've had, would you believe me if I told you that the most dangerous of them was babysitting? Seems hard to believe, doesn't it? Well, maybe when I tell you this story, you will understand why. That was my first day as a nanny, and the last thing I imagined that day would be my last. I had to take care of my neighbor's family, people I had known all my life. Their children were a bit naughty, but they felt comfortable with me. They knew me since they were born.
Lily, are you going to take care of us today?
Yes, Angie. Are you happy?
Yes!
Hey, Lily, can we play a scary game?
We'll see.
Well, kids, looks like you're getting along already.
I promise to take care of them, Mr. and Mrs. Willis. Don't worry, Lily. We trust you. Much more than anyone else we may have called.
We'll be back in a couple of hours. Be sure to send them to bed early, yes?
No, it's a Saturday.
I don't want to go to sleep early.
Sorry, guys. My hands are tied.
You guys listen to Lily. Behave yourselves. Yeah, Mom.
Okay.
And so, the Willis family left, leaving me alone with it who started bombarding me with questions.
Lily, I'm hungry.
Lily, can we have ice cream before dinner?
Lily, I don't want to take a bath.
Lily? Lily, I'm talking to you. Lily?
Oh, you guys, stop it. I've only got 2 ears.
But there's 2 of us.
But you're talking like there's 2,000 of you. Talk to me one at a time. You first, Angie.
I'm hungry.
Okay, I'll get the food ready. Now you, James.
I want to play Bloody Mary.
What?
Bloody Mary, the horror game I told you about before. All we have to do is go to the bathroom, turn off all the lights, and say her name 3 times in the mirror. And if you do...
Bloody Mary will appear. I know, I used to play it with my friends when I was younger.
Wow! And have you ever seen anything weird?
Nope, it's just a myth. Guys, you shouldn't waste your time with it.
But you promised me we were gonna play.
But I also told Angie I was gonna make dinner.
No, I want to play too.
What? Angie, you're only 12. This is not for you.
I said I want to play. You promised.
Ugh, okay, guys, but just for a little while, and then we eat, okay?
Yeah!
You're the best, Lily.
I know.
At that moment, I didn't feel like the best. I knew I had to have more authority and send the kids to lunch, but my inexperience made me nervous, and I accepted what the kids told me so that they would put in a good word for me with the parents. Somewhat regretful and uncomfortable, I went along with them and helped them set up the game.
Hey, what are you doing with those scissors?
It's part of the game. You have to leave Bloody Mary a pair of scissors to come and kill you. Otherwise, she won't show up.
Why would you want her to kill you?
Because she won't come otherwise.
All right, but I'll handle the scissors. Don't touch them, understand?
Yes.
We set everything up, and I must admit that when I played it, we didn't even do half of what we had to do, so I was a little scared. We turned off all the lights, and with some candles lit, we walked to the bathroom mirror.
Millie, remember that if Bloody Mary shows up and blows out the candles, you have to light them again to make her go away.
I know. Don't worry. As I told you, it's just a game.
With a lot of doubts, I started to play the game. I approached the mirror and started to say,
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Angie, what's wrong?
I don't want to play anymore. This is too scary.
Okay, let's stop here.
But we were so close.
James, that's enough. Can't you see that your sister's terrified? Come on, sweetie, let's go to eat. What? How did they all go out at the same time?
It's Bloody Mary. It's Bloody Mary.
Stay calm. It can't be Bloody Mary. I didn't even finish saying her name.
Lily, behind us.
When I turned around, I couldn't believe it. It was true. A being with an indescribable figure was behind us. It looked like a woman, but there was something on her face. Something was completely wrong. I began to feel a strange atmosphere, like pressure. Fear took hold of me, and holding the children's hands tightly, I began to walk backwards.
Kids, run!
Desperate, we all ran together and hid in the dining room. On the way, I tried to turn on the lights, but they didn't work. I tried my best to open the door, but it was stuck too. It was as if we were trapped in another world. When we got behind the curtains on the couch, I realized that at a slow and terrifying pace, Bloody Mary was walking towards us. Hiding was pointless. Somehow she knew where we were, and it wasn't with her sight, as she didn't have any eyes.
Kids, if I light the candles, the game will be over. Go to the kitchen to hide. I'll run to the bathroom.
No, you mustn't go. She'll kill you.
There's no other choice, James. I have to.
You don't understand. You can't.
Without letting James finish speaking, I ran toward the bathroom, leaving behind the entity that was following us. I quickly grabbed the lighter from my pocket and noticed how the scissors that were here had disappeared. I grabbed the candles and began to light them. My only advantage in this situation was that Bloody Mary was quite slow. I felt I was about to defeat her when I realized something terrifying. No matter how much fire there was, the candles would not light. I tried again and again, but it was too late. I was already locked in with Bloody Mary in front of me. Terrified, I dropped my lighter and crawled back crying, begging uselessly for mercy. A feeling of pain and sadness came over my whole body. As she approached, I could do nothing but stare into her eyes. Every second I did so, I felt a sensation worse than death. I felt I was lost in an endless emptiness of suffering that did not even belong to me. I felt that I didn't want to be alive anymore. It was a feeling that I didn't even know could exist, but at the same time, it was the definition of something worse than death. Surrender, I watched as the scissors slowly approached my body, ready to open my skin to take my life. Suddenly, the light returned, and as if nothing, Bloody Mary disappeared. Behind her, I heard the voice of a crying child with lit candles in his hand.
Sorry, Lily. I summoned her. I said her name 3 times when you guys went to the kitchen. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, James. You saved us.
After that, the children went straight to bed. They didn't want to eat, they didn't want to bathe, but they didn't want to sleep either. They laid there with the light on, asking me not to leave all night. When the parents arrived, they were proud of my work, but instead of going home safely, I asked them if I could spend the night with them, to which they happily agreed. And that was my first and last day as a babysitter. Many years later, I still see them. I'm like their big sister, but I would never consider babysitting again. I'm not interested in being famous with this story, much less convincing you that the paranormal is real. I tell you this for one reason only, to warn you. Do not play Bloody Mary. Never play Bloody Mary. Even if you don't believe in the ritual, I assure you that you should not risk it being real, because for just an innocent game, Bloody Mary will appear, and I assure you that a fate worse than death awaits you.
Hey guys, so I thought that the first video we watched was really good, and it teaches you about, when you go on your dating apps, like, you don't really know who you're really meeting for the first time. And so when she was out, texting him and doesn't really have many pictures to go off by him and never meeting him, she invites him to an Halloween party. And of course she wants to show off because it's at her uncle's big house, big mansion, whatever, which is cool, whatever. And then all of a sudden he says he's going to be wearing a sailor costume with a black mask, which I found really weird because it's doesn't really pair well together. And she even mentioned that he didn't offer to match costumes with her. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then when she's there at the party, he's there in the costume that she described. He described the black mask and sailor outfit, and she's wearing a 50s flapper girl outfit, which is cool. And they start, dancing, and he starts commenting how pretty she is and all of that. And of course they want to get away from the crowd and stuff, so they go to the uncle's office, which I found really interesting. It's of all the places in the whole house, you guys go to the office, not the bedroom, not outside for fresh air, nothing like that. Really weird, because she even said, I haven't been in this office for a long time. And then he picks up a picture of her as a little girl, and he even says that she doesn't look like she's aged at all. And he said that he likes that about her, that she still looks like she used to as a kid. And then she found that, kind of weird, but she was like, okay, whatever. And then when he got close to her and tried to kiss her, what does she do? Oh, that's right. She pushes him away because she felt uncomfortable already. And then they leave. But where's her phone, guys? Where's her phone? No? Yeah, that's right. He has her phone. I thought that was so weird. It's how do you have her phone all of a sudden? That's weird. And then he gives it to her oh yeah, you left your phone in the office. No, he had her phone because he stole her phone went through her phone for some creepy reason. Like, it was obvious. Like, you stole her phone. Like, come on. And then I would have never, ever, ever drank the drink that he grabbed for her, because all of a sudden she starts feeling weird, right? And then he starts trying to, touch her arm and get closer to her and want to spend more time with her. And then that's when she really felt uncomfortable and decided to leave. And when she was leaving, she ran into a back room and found these old pictures of her mother and her uncle. And what is her uncle wearing in this picture? Oh, that's right. The costume that guy showed up in. That's right. The date that she's on is her uncle. That's who she's dating right now on the date. It's her uncle. In that get-up, it's her uncle. Which means this nasty man is hitting on his niece, fully knowing he's going on a date as somebody else with his niece. That means he's liked his niece for however long and had this sick, twisted fantasy to go on a date with her, be with her. Like, what was he gonna do when she found out it was him? Like, hello? Did he think that was never gonna happen? Like, he just thought this was gonna be a one and done and get away with it type of deal? Maybe that was also another option he had in his head, maybe. Ugh, it's so gross. And then, of course, she did the right thing. She told her parents, and the parents called the police. Police showed up and found that, he did put drugs, we'll just say, in her drink. And he also obviously had bad intentions of taking advantage of her. And that is why you need to be careful, everybody out there in the dating scene. You gotta be careful out there, on these dating apps, because it makes it easy for creeps to find you, get a hold of you, and pretend to be somebody else. And then once you meet with them in person, you don't know what they're going to do. It's the first time ever meeting them. That's why you meet them in a, open area with lots of people, and you do not, have them drop you off at your house either. Don't ride home with them either. Don't go home with them on a first date, period. And that's the first story. And then, so in the second story that we're going to be talking about, it's about a family that has two investigators show up to help them fight these evil entities off. So, Ed and Lorraine Warren show up, and, the best of the best showing up at your house, these amazing professionals showing up like that, it really solidifies the nightmare. And then you're not crazy. You know that this is reality. It's like a wave crashing over you in the ocean. All you really can do is let them do their work, step back, wait it out, and hope for the best. Because one night, the daughter decided to play with a Ouija board that she found. The whole family suffered from this, tragedy. All because she found a Ouija board. And she was lonely, and she just wanted a friend to talk to, and maybe an outlet of some sort. And all because of that, they opened up Pandora's box, and their whole life flipped upside down, and not only the daughter suffered, no, the whole family suffered the worst type of tragedies imaginable. So we move on to when the mother wakes up at 3 a.m. So when you wake up at 3 a.m. like that, you know that it's not a good thing. Because for those that don't know, 3 a.m. means the witching hour. And most of the time, bad things go bump in the night at 3 a.m. And I'm telling you right now from experience, I woke up a couple of times when I was being haunted by spirits, ghosts, entities, whatever. It was bad. They literally, for 2 months straight, would wake me up at 3:33 in the morning to mess with me. So I remember that. So I know it's a real thing because multiple people have reported of waking up at 3 a.m. and something bad always happening. Never good, always bad. So remember that. So the mother walks up the stairs and she can hear noises, talking, whispering. So she thought to herself, well, maybe it's my husband watching TV, but it's not. She goes over to her son's room, she checks her son's room, and it's not her son. Her son's fast asleep. So the last person would be her daughter. So she opens her daughter's room, come to find out that's where the whispering and the talking was. But her daughter wasn't talking. There was nobody inside besides her daughter too. There was no other person. It was just the daughter. So the mother looked around, see if there was a boy, sneaking in the bedroom in her daughter's room, but there wasn't. It was just her daughter sitting on the bed, awake, and she thought that was weird, but she brushed it off her shoulder and she went to bed. And honestly, I thought it was weird because it's it is storming in the morning at 3 a.m., a huge thunderstorm. I don't think your daughter's gonna sneak any guy in the middle of the night upstairs to her room like that. At least not during a bad thunderstorm, Most people wouldn't. And so we move on to the family. Each one obviously had bad things happen to, them. But I thought it was crazy that the mother was being messed with and tricked by this entity. It clearly did not like her. And that's why it was, harassing her, hurting her, making her see things that weren't there. I mean, the fact that she went into the bathroom and she was washing her hands, and 1 minute her eyes glanced down at the sink, and then the next she's looking in the mirror and there's blood all over her whole face, hands, and then the sink is pumping out blood it's just crazy. And then of course, like any normal person, you're thinking this is not real, but it was, because it's not like she was having a nightmare. She was awake. This happened several weeks after the incident with the noises in her daughter's room. So that's two strikes. One more and I'd be out of there. Now, I want to move on and talk about what Patty did at the dinner table with her family, because that literally gave my spine chills. Ugh. The way she just looked off into space at the ceiling, and her dad was
what are you doing? What are you looking at? And Patty just nonchalantly says that you all smell different when you're awake. With no emotion, nothing. That right there, you could slowly see her losing herself. Like she was losing a battle against evil inside of herself. And then if it was me at that dinner table, I would have said, "Excuse me," and then, walked away slowly, grabbed the car keys, start the car, go outside, and take off. Never, ever coming back. I'll take the kid with me and, whoever else wants to go, but Patty can't go. No. Patty's gonna have to stay home. Sorry, but I don't want her. Anyways, so we had Ed and Lorraine come over and finally sit down with Patty in her room and ask her questions. And at that point, clearly you could tell Patty was gone. She was not there anymore, right? There was nothing in those blank, gaze, those eyes. There was blankness. There was nothing in her. And, by that point, she was clearly possessed by something that she brought in from that Ouija board. So, when they asked her some questions, she, answered them, but it was like, as soon as they asked her, what is its name, she could not tell them that. Because if this entity told Patty or them its name, it would have gave them, people, Ed and Lorraine and the parents and Patty, authority over this entity, a power over this entity to make it leave. Because once hold on, let me just say this. When you know an entity's name, you can use it against them, right? Because there is power in names, okay? There is. It's a real thing. So, we move on to Patty getting upset and saying that her boyfriend does not want them there anymore. Yeah, she was staring off, looking across her room into the doorway at nothing, but saying her boyfriend wants them all, you know what I'm saying? All unalived. And that was creepy, okay? That was creepy. And then, not only that, but the entity, clearly wanted to hurt Patty as well, because it made her scratch her face off. And they could not stop her from scratching her face. So, of course, they tied her to the bed, because that's all they could do. And, yeah, it was horrible. And then finally she calmed down, she passed out. So, this is why you don't play with Ouija boards, because sometimes not just one thing will go wrong, not just two. No, you can end up obviously being possessed. And that right there, now that I know that after playing with the Ouija board several times growing up, I'm so glad that's never happened to me. I'm glad I didn't get possessed. Can you imagine? It's a whole nother feeling of just ick, unsettlingness in my stomach. It's scary. It's just scary. That we could be a Patty right now. This is horrible. So, Father Jason finally shows up at the door to help Ed and Lorraine start the exorcism on Patty to get rid of this entity for good. Now, when Father Jason shows up, right, the part where he goes up the stairs and he meets Patty for the first time. Patty doesn't introduce herself. She's just standing there smiling like she's hiding something. At that point, it was not Patty anymore. It was like there was not a single piece of Patty left in that body anymore. It was like she was hollow and twisted and evil. That's what looked like replaced her. Just a black void looked like it replaced her. And so when they're all in the room and they're talking to Patty and Father Jason's talking to her, next thing you know, Patty decides to do a back bend, literally back bending all the way back until her hands are on the floor, looking like she's on all fours, running at them. Ugh, so gross. Like, y'all, possession ain't possession without that. Like, let's be real. It's even scarier with that. So, finally, they got Patty on the bed, and they strapped her on the bed, and they did as many prayers as they could to help get this thing out. But the final touchdown, okay, was when they threw holy water on Patty and said that final prayer. That's when you saw this black, like, smoke, this entity, like, physically leaving her body. And then Patty finally returned to herself, just finally came back. It was like their last shot at freeing Patty from this evil being. Like, if, you know, I don't know, I know there are some people that don't believe in God, or some people that do believe in God. For me, I do believe in God. You know, I don't go to church every day. I mean, I used to as a kid, but it's like something tells me in this world that there really is good versus evil, okay? Because there are things like this that could happen to us. We could be possessed, and then it's like, what do? You ain't gonna pray to anybody? Because I sure as hell would be. I would be. Because it feels like if you do, it helps people. It heals them. It gets rid of the darkness. And clearly it worked for Patty. Thank God. I know. But it really, thank God it did. Because now she's normal. Family's back to normal finally. They're all, you know, living a happy, healthier life. And I'm happy for them. I really am. And obviously Ed and Lorraine, I mean, for God's sakes, Lorraine, she has special abilities that are incredible, okay? She sees literal entities and demons and evil things that we cannot see, okay? So clearly, I'm just saying, there might be a God, there might be a devil. So, thank God there was a happy ending for this girl, you know? And she obviously learned her lesson. And, yeah, so let's move on to part 3 for our stories. We move on to our third and final story, which is going to be about babysitting. And I don't know about y'all, but I used to babysit a lot when I was, like, I want to say I started when I was like 9, and you know, it was only like maybe 1, sometimes 2 kids, it just depends. One time I did actually babysit like 13, 14 kids at once for a wedding. I was a nanny for a day. That was quite interesting. Anyways, the point is, you know, babysitting can be either fun or scary, right? And let's just say this story was scary for sure, because this poor girl, when she was young, teenage girl, decided to babysit for the first time to make some extra cash, which in her defense, we all need extra cash nowadays, so even, it just makes sense. Anyways, so what does she do? She goes, she babysits these two kids she knows, the neighbors next door. So she goes over, meets the two children, and she already knows them. So she knows that these kids are pretty good, they're easy to take care of. And, y'all, what happens? It's like, this just really shook me to my core, I'm not gonna lie. Never have I ever babysat a kid who wants to play Bloody Mary. I mean, when I was a kid, my friend, she was like, let's say, I think like 7 years older than I was or something, so I did whatever she wanted to do. She was like big sister growing up. And she had me play Bloody Mary with her. Only I kept chickening out because, like, I remember at the last second, she was saying Bloody Mary with me, Bloody Mary. And then on the second chant, she locked the door and then held it on the bathroom door. She had her own bathroom, so that I couldn't get out. And she kept telling me, say it, say it, say it. I don't know. I think I did say the last chant, but I don't think it counted, thank God. But it just, my heart was beating so fast. I was so scared, and every second I felt like there was going to be a woman that came out and reached out and just got you through the mirror. And even today, I hate mirrors. Absolutely freaking hate them. And another thing, in one of my houses as a kid, my mom thought it'd be a great idea to have the mirrors facing each other in the living room. So come to find out, that made a portal. Okay, mirrors facing each other like that, directly, across from each other, makes a portal. And I didn't know that until I found out when, after playing a Ouija board, that also did not help what I was going through. It was making things worse. More entities were coming in, screwing with me. So I was like, oh, hell no. And I took the mirrors down, but it just, it's crazy. Anyways, so back to the babysitting story. So she was babysitting these kids, and you all know that you try to appease these children when you're babysitting them. You want to make them happy. You want to play their games, keep them busy while you have them for an evening or a day or a night. So I have never heard of a kid wanting to play Bloody Mary with their babysitter. Have you guys? Let me know. Tell me in the comments below, because I haven't. Not at all. Never heard of that. So, what does she do? Do you think she says no? You think she says yes? Well, of course she says yes. And you guys know that because we watched it together. But I just think it's wild to say yes, but she wanted to make the kids happy. And a lot of babysitters just want to make the kids happy. So I understand that, okay? But it's like, of all games, you couldn't have said no to Bloody Mary. It made them, I don't know, play hide and seek in the dark, okay? That would have been a little bit safer than playing Bloody Mary, okay? Okay? Because Bloody Mary isn't just a game. It's actually a ritual, okay? It is a legit ritual. So you're calling her in. It's just, it's crazy to me that you just played it willy-nilly without it. She even said she played it as a young kid, and she, you know, wasn't gonna do it with those kids, but she just wanted to make them happy, so she said yes. And it's crazy to me. You already knew you were scared, so why would you let them play it? You knew better, but just still said yes. And that, you know, so in a way, half of that is her fault, okay, for saying yes and letting them play. Stupid idea. Anyways, now we have the little boy and a little girl and the babysitter go into the bathroom. They start setting up the, I'll call it a ritual because it is, ritual. You guys can call it a game if you want. Not me. So they're setting up the ritual, and the boy pulls out a pair of scissors, and of course the babysitter's like, what are you doing with scissors? So in this Bloody Mary game ritual, they have scissors with lighting the candles. And if if Bloody Mary comes over to get you, she needs the scissors to eat you, right? And you have to, she'll blow out all the candles, and then you have to relight the candle, I guess one candle at least, in time before she eat you. So they light all the candles, they leave a pair of scissors by the sink where the mirror is and the sink is. The scissors are sitting there, and next thing you know, the babysitter gets in front of the mirror and she says, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, 3 times. And out of nowhere, the little girl, well, before she, okay, no, rewind, she said it twice, actually. She didn't get to the 3rd time. But the little girl started crying and freaking out and was scared, so of course they stopped the ritual. And then I noticed, who was the last to leave the bathroom? It wasn't the babysitter or the little girl, it was the little boy. The little boy was the last to leave the bathroom. And all of a sudden, when they're working their way out of the bathroom and going to the kitchen to make some food, all of a sudden, the little boy freaked out and said, look over there. And when they turn around, Bloody Mary is standing in front of them with no eyes, crazy, dark, like, hair in her face, and just floating and looking real creepy and scary. And she's got the scissors. So, of course, you know, if this happened to me, I think I would have froze. But it's like, you know, you don't have time to freeze when you're babysitting kids or you have kids of your own. It's like, I don't know why, but kids give you courage. It makes you feel brave. So, you know, with me and I had those kids, I'd be booking to the door too. Like, find a door, find a window, and get the hell out. But I thought it was weird when she said it felt like, it was like they were, you know, everything the babysitter was trying to open wasn't working at all. And she said it felt like they were in an alternate universe or a different time zone or something, like they were not home anymore. To me, okay, just follow me here, stick with me. When she said that, when the babysitter said that, it made me think that when she said those words, that maybe they weren't in the house anymore. Maybe they were in an alternate universe of this house. And they all somehow traveled through the mirror in Mirror World. And that's where Bloody Mary is, right? Because she comes out of a mirror and she goes back in the mirror. So maybe Bloody Mary took them into her world in Mirror World and was trying to eat them. And that's why the house wasn't real. It was just like a weird Mirror World replica of their house. Just saying. That's so creepy, because that's the vibe I was getting, was like, yeah, it almost felt like an upside down world. You know, kind of how Stranger Things is, where they have upside down. That's what it was giving with this mirror world that Bloody Mary comes from. So we leave off on the kids and the babysitter in the kitchen right now, but babysitter decides to put an end to the Bloody Mary ritual by running back in the bathroom and trying to light the candle. But of course, it's not lighting for her, because she was the one that never started the game. The little boy did. And I even said that in the beginning, didn't I? That the little boy was the one who left the bathroom last. And he was the one that thought he would start the game. And, well, finish the game, essentially, by, doing the chant to get Bloody Mary to show up. And it worked, of course. And then he felt bad for not saying anything, and he should have said something right there in the beginning, but no, of course he didn't. And of course, when the candle didn't light for her, it lit for the little boy instead. And I was just like, oh my god, I knew it. I knew it. I didn't know if you guys knew it, but I did. And right then and there, like, before the boy came in, she was about to get got by Bloody Mary. Like, Bloody Mary, I literally thought she was gonna drag the babysitter into the mirror world with her, never to be seen or heard from again. Like, it was crazy. What was also insane was that the babysitter was describing the feeling of Bloody Mary's pain, how it's so agonizing to feel Bloody Mary's pain, how it is worse than death itself, how she rather, be unalived than go with Bloody Mary at that point. That's how, like, evil and unsettling Bloody Mary is. Like, that was pretty traumatic. Like, I can't even imagine if I was in that babysitter's shoes. Like, that would be traumatic. And then Bloody Mary, like, what if she did get the babysitter, right? Let's just say she got the babysitter. She wasn't gonna stop there. She would have took the kids too, dragged all three of them back to the mirror world, never to be seen or heard from again, and then have to, who knows what Bloody Mary would have done to them, torture them, make them, like, who knows. Just that feeling of Bloody Mary's feelings alone was traumatic, obviously. Like, you'd rather die than feel Bloody Mary's pain. So who knows what Bloody Mary would have done to them if the boy didn't show up and light the candle. Like, that would have been insanely bad for all of them. But luckily, they all lived in the end, and the kids grew up, and the babysitter, she came forward with this story to all warn us that playing Bloody Mary isn't just a game, it's a ritual, and you should not play it because, Bloody Mary's gonna show up and come collect you. And then you're gonna have to go be Bloody Mary's slave for all eternity and live in the mirror world. Who knows? You'll probably have to do her bidding as well. It's not great. So, I don't know what you guys thought of these stories, but I found them very interesting, super scary. I love IMR scary stories because the animation alone is amazing. Like, the best animation with scary stories. Like, the best on YouTube ever, in my opinion. And all the stories and the animations are A, never the same, B, just always different. Like, it's always different stories, always different art, and I love that about his channel. Or her, I don't know, but I think it's a guy. I don't know. Or a girl, or anything in between. Doesn't matter. The person is amazing. Whoever creates this channel, amazing. And I've been watching them for I want to say 3 years now, maybe 4. Anyways, if you guys want more stories like this, please let me know in the comments below. And also, I am going to be changing my channel name. I'm still working on it, but I think it's between Sour Cat Tells Sour Tales or Scaredy Cat Tells Twisted Tales. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Please share, follow for more videos from me. Have a good day, guys.